Hi and welcome to Daily TFT. Today I wanted to do a short video about openers. Simply because I think openers are extremely important. Having a strong opener is a pretty good way of securing yourself a top 4, and overall it just can have a snowball effect. It just ends up rolling throughout the entire game. The problem is people curse the game for not getting a good opener, but sometimes they get a good opener, but they don't know it, and as a consequence, they ruin their own game and then curse the game for it. There's a lot of different types of openers, and because of the augments, this is a little bit more difficult. So for this video, I just wanted to introduce you to 3 different types of openers that can help you have a good early game and still be fairly flexible towards what you want to do. For the opener number 1, this is called the 4-hextech opener. Now this used to be a lot stronger in the Sivir meta, especially the one where you ended up going for the Ginzo statics build, which isn't that strong anymore. I think Sivir is more on the 4-striker side now with something like Ginzo Last Whisper. But overall, this opener still is probably the one of the most annoying openers you can face. The Rek'Sai here is optional. It's mainly about having 4-hextech with preferably a Frozen Heart on a 2-star Nocturne. Why the Frozen Heart? Because it's so annoying. So what's gonna end up happening is you check where your opponents are, you send the Frozen Heart Nocturne into the backline, their DPS gets reduced because of the Frozen Heart, and now because of the Hextech shield, it's harder for them to kill the Nocturne, especially with the lower DPS, and as a consequence, that Nocturne will just completely wreck the opponent's backline. Every time I face this opener, I'm extremely annoyed about not being able to kill anything, and since you just ended up slamming a Frozen Heart, you can still go into every direction that you want. Frozen Heart isn't a bad utility item. You're not committed to go Hextech from this position, so I figured I should mention it, and if you ever see the opportunity for a 4-hextech opener with a Frozen Heart, you should try going for it. It's a lot of fun. For the second one, this is an opener that's a little bit more committed. It's the 4-Arcanist 3 Yordle opener. The way this comp develops is it sort of goes into a 6-Arcanist or 4-Arcanist 2 Scholar type late game that involves having a Vex 3-star and a Malz 3-star, or just going a little bit more towards leveling and ending up with Victor 2-star as your main win condition. Why is the Sunfire here? Well, the thing is, Vex and Sunfire is just overall extremely strong, especially in the early game. Vex is very, very difficult to kill with 4-Arcanist. She gets this huge shield. The combination of the Malzahar dot together with the Sunfire is just super strong. Extremely easy to win streak with this opener. It offers you a great late game with a nice, potentially vertical Arcanist comp. And overall, I just ended up having a lot of success with it. Technically, Lusher was the one who recommended me this type of setups. I tried it out, I thought it was amazing, so I definitely would recommend it to you guys as well. Also, yeah, in case you're not 100% convinced, I ended up using this opener with Pandora's Box even in my first game from the Golden Spatula Cup, and I ended up winning with it. So yeah, even in a competitive setup, this opener, I have complete trust in this opener. It's super strong. And in case you're wondering where to go from here, it's mainly just an item dump on the Malzahar, and then either going Malzahar 3-star or Victor. This Malzahar can also be a brand in the early game if you ended up not finding him straight away. And for my last opener, so this isn't exactly an opener, but well, no, this is an opener, sorry. What I wanted to mention is these 2 champions. Kassadin is one of, if not the most underrated stage 2, maybe even stage 3 unit in the game. Kassadin 2-star with tank items. It doesn't matter if it's a Bramblevest, a Sunfire, Redemption, a Varmox. This guy is a tank. He's crazy good. And people buy a Kassadin, they check out the mutation, and then they sell him. And I always cringe when I see it, because I'm like, dude, Kassadin is so good, you should always collect him. Just in case you get him 2-star and just put him on your front line. He is such a good frontliner, he's such a good tank. He can help you win so many fights in the early game. That's why I always recommend try to set yourself up with a 2 Scholar type setup that involves Kassadin as your main tank. Here I ended up combining it together with a preferably VIP Syndra and a Debonair setup to activate the VIP bonus. It doesn't have to be a VIP Syndra, but overall I kind of enjoy this type of setup. You have the Talon and the Blitzcrank. Talon ends up tagging the Blitzcrank hook target because he's jumping in the same corner. I make sure that the Syndra is on the same line as the Talon and away from the Blitzcrank to try to maximize my damage. I don't want a Syndra ultimate on a target that's pretty much dead from Talon anyways. But this can also be a brand, for example. This Blitzcrank and this Talon can be a brand, and this Blitzcrank can be pretty much anything else. They're sort of like, they're useful, but they're kind of optional. The whole idea about this comp is just opening up with a VIP Syndra, preferably with mana or AP items, and using Kassadin 2-star as your main tank. I think VIP Syndra is one of, if not the best AP dumps in the game right now, and I think Kassadin is one of the strongest early game tanks. And I absolutely assure you, if you see the opportunity to go for this type of setup, it's amazing. If you want to know where to go from here, as one example, you can stack AP items on a Syndra, on the VIP Syndra, make her 2-star, go deeper into vertical Debonairs and set yourself up with maybe a 7 Debonair setup and sell the Syndra, put the AP items onto Zeri, and set yourself up with Draven Zeri as your late game. It's pretty solid if you get a Zeri 2-star, especially if she's VIP in the end. She can totally win you the game. Zeri is a bit underrated. People tend to build her wrong a lot of the times. It's one of the reasons why they don't perform that well. And because you always have to keep in mind Zeri is an AP carry, right? So if you end up having something like a Rabadon, a Jewel, etc. on a Syndra and then move that to Zeri, that Zeri can be pretty scary. But yeah, hopefully this will help you guys to get a better understanding of which units to look out for in the early game. Anyways, this is just 3 openers. There's a lot more. In case, just, you know, why not share your favorite opener in the comments with me, and let's see if there's anything I totally should have mentioned. Anyways, other than that, that was it for me today. See you guys tomorrow.